So it is the Lamach Live Reading Diary. It's 7:30 in the evening, and we're getting close to the end of Saturday. It's been a rewarding day. It's been beautifully sunny, and all the rest of it. But the Lostprophets are about to go on in about 2 hours.
Yeah,
something like that. So what are your thoughts about this here gig and this festival?
Kind of looking forward to it. Unsure how the crowd will react, and I think it'd be pretty cool. But I've never been to Reading before. I used to just go to like Dynamo festivals, like Metal Kid festivals. But no, it's cool. It seems cool. I thought it'd be raining, so I thought, cool. At least people would flock to the tent, and we could use it as an excuse. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, loads of people came. It was like at the drive-in all over again.
It's a really nice stage as well. I like the way it's set out. It's very kind of low down and with the people.
Yeah, with the people.
For the people.
Oh, with the people, baby.
No, it's on the level, so you can actually be. It's a bit more intimate than obviously being up on there.
It's like we wanted it because we got kind of offered, do you want to play other stuff? We're like, no, I'd rather play that stage at a cool time rather than another massive stage, do you know what I mean, in the middle of the day with people going, who are these jokers, like, do you know what I mean? So, no, it's nice. It's nice and intimate, kind of, do you know what I mean? As intimate as you can get in a festival.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you had a chance to check out anyone else who's been playing? Have you seen any music?
No, I saw Vex Red, but I've seen them before anyway. They're kind of cool. They're good because they got songs. Do you know what I mean? Songs are always good.
It's handy when you're a band.
Yeah. No, Rancid. Just saw Rancid, which are cool. But they usually are. Do you know what I mean? Rancid or Rancid, kind of. But I can't think of anyone. I mean, I wanted to see Alice for Heroes because I know I used to be in two of them. Used to be in Symposium and stuff. But I don't know what I was doing.
I saw them.
Did you?
I saw 3 songs and then we got pulled away.
Why?
Very good. I don't know. We got pulled away for an interview, probably. No.
But yeah, the rest of it doesn't really kind of interest me. It's all kind of it's all right, but it seems to be all enemy indie shoegazing type crap.
Okay. So one thing that's kind of interesting is I was just saying to Jamie earlier that I'm in the throes of making a program about the relationship between sort of punk rock, whether it be whatever variety in this country, and the influence in the States. And obviously there's very heated debate as to where it all originated and who's done what, who contributed what. Which of those bands? I mean, are you very much from the West Coast? Kind of the Descendants and the Misfits and the Germs and that whole thing, or I mean, tell me how you got into this kind of music.
It came to a very weird thing. When I was younger, I used to be obsessed with the Police and Duran Duran. Do you know what I mean? And also with that came the kind of more, I don't know, metal influence, kind of like bands like Metallica and weird like Annihilator. Sorry, as well. But the punk stuff, I mean, I've always loved Pennywise and stuff like that. I prefer, I mean, to be honest, I prefer the SoCal stuff. A lot of people don't like it because they think it's fake and it's not punk or whatever, do you know what I mean? And I think these days, what is punk anyway? It's more of an attitude than anything. You could have a band that claims to be punk playing 3-chord, fast songs, but they could have the biggest egos in the world. Do you know what I mean? Is that punk? Or you could have a band that's kind of playing metal. It's not technically classed as punk, but they could be the most DIY and down to earth guys you'll ever meet. But is it still? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, to me, it's an attitude. But
I mean, you did your time in like hardcore bands and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I came from the hardcore scene kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And bands like AF, and Used to Today, Gorilla Biscuits. That kind of the East Coast, hardcore, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like I wasn't really influenced by any of the kind of old British punk bands at all.
How do you, or what's your take, should I say, on the relationship between punk and skating and the whole look, and the fact that it's spurned things like Deconstruction and the Vans Warped Tour and that whole thing?
Yeah, well, it's definitely there. I mean, it always has been. Since the beginning, when skating and punk go kind of hand in hand, do you know what I mean? With like Suicidal, stuff like that. But it's funny because we played. We did the Sprite Urban Games Festival like a few weeks ago, which is a kind of urban games, just like skating, BMXing, all stuff like that. But the majority of it was hip hop and drum and bass, and they just kind of casually like put on 3 token punk stroke kind of metal bands. It was us, like Vanilla Pod and Snuff, just thrown on at the end of the day. But the whole event was based around like the whole hip hop culture, like, you know, breakdancing, graffiti.
Trying so hard to just
Yeah,
have the two together.
and it was like, yeah, no, you know, hip hop is a part of skating, but they were just kind of trying to forget that it came from punk. Do you know what I mean? The kind of the percentage like wasn't even. It was like, oh yeah, 10% will show punk, and then but the whole rest of the festival is going to be based around hip hop. You know, but you know, not. You know, hip hop's cool, like, but it should be even. It should be 50-50. Do you know what I mean? Because in the old,
you have to have a punk day. You know what I mean? To warm up the punk evening with the 3 bands.
yeah, and they do just blasting kind of hard house all day and this drum and, do you know what I mean? And it's cool, but in that kind of, that was supposed to be the punk day. Do you know what I mean? And they just weren't given any leeway to you know, punk or metal or actual bands. They just thought they were looking for kudos too much. Do you know what I mean? It's like, look how cool I am. Like, look at my DJ skills.
So it was style over music.
Yeah, no, I just didn't, you know, because I mean, you watch all the kind of the old Powell videos and H Street videos, like Animal Chin and stuff, you know, and it's like ST on it, you know, and it's all like metal stuff. Metallica's all chords, you know. That's where it started, and hip hop wasn't that involved. It is now, but I think it should be more even. So it was a funny kind of observation we were making, you know.
You'd be sort of avoiding the flying bottles and the
the
full cans.
Tell me how the I suppose in a way the punk scene in the UK, because obviously we're kind of digesting, it appears to me, 95% American bands and a small percentage of British bands. Is the scene here healthy? Do we have the bands?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I came from the hardcore scene. I mean, I doubt many people would class us as in the actual underground punk scene now. But if you're speaking of like punk as in encompassing everything, kind of, you know, all the kind of DIY bands, then yeah, you know, there are a load of good bands. There's a band from Cardiff called Douglas, you know, awesome band. You just, you know, like Vanilla Pod, all the guys we all meet up with, you know what I mean, they're all cool, they're always kind of nice. It's just, you know, it's the old saying, you know, kind of adage of like major labels, you need the money, and like all the American bands seem to have the major label support, whereas every band over here seems to be struggling on an indie, do you know what I mean? Touring in bands, and also I think we do have the bands. I just think you don't have the mystique and glamour of coming from America, you know.
Like grass is always greener.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, it's true. You see, like, if you've never been to America and you see some band from almighty, you know, California or Hollywood. Yeah, we see on the TV all the time. There's always going to be an extra kind of something more, you know, attractive about that, rather than seeing a band from Grimsby. Do you know what I mean? Or you know, do you know what I mean? They just walk and say the band from Grimsby might be, you know, 10 times better, but you know, they're not from California. And I think people need to break out of that mindset. I think. Do you know what I mean? It kind of.
I mean, do you think that's very much the British audience is still seduced by the American bands because they are, as you were saying, because they are American, or is it that, you know, that there isn't necessarily the same degree of scene here? I mean, is there a big punk rock audience here?
Yeah, definitely, but it's all in kind of in comparison to America. I mean, the UK is. Do you know what I mean? It's the size of like a state in America. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, in proportion, I think there is definitely. I mean, I don't want to pigeonhole every person in the UK and say no, everybody loves American bands, because they obviously don't, because everybody supports British bands, you know. But I think there is that certain element to being from over, you know, from the land of the movies, you know.
So finally, guys, just rattle off. You've mentioned Douglas and a couple of other bands. Just tell me, you know, who from that world that anyone listening should be checking out.
Think of bands.
Yeah, further was they?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Do you mean UK bands?
Yeah.
Nah.
This Girl, surprise.
Yeah, there's a band called This Girl, which are really cool.
Forever Until October. They'll be taking that on tour.
Yeah, the kind of Forever Until, same kind of emo feel, like 100 Reasons, you know, and we're taking those out on tour now straight after this. There are a load of other bands I'll think of as soon as we finish this interview, and I'll be going, I'll get a load of phone calls saying, why didn't you mention this in an interview? And I was like, but there are loads out there, loads, you know. It's just, if you've got the patience to look and actually go looking for it, rather than just wait for it to be handed on a plate to you by the enemy. Do you know what I mean? You don't need the enemy to tell you who's the best band in the world. You should go out and find it. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, they are there.